What is going, guys? Cinema World from 701 World Productions here, and I'm back with another big episode ranking for you all today. Here to do another episode ranking. And guys know I did a series where I ranked every episode of Drake and Josh. That was fun. And now to do one for a franchise I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and that is Total Drama. Now, for those who don't know what Total Drama is, it's basically a reality parody show with it's basically a parody of Survivor, Fear Factor, a lot of different shows, and it basically makes fun of certain aspects from those shows and those aspects of it, and having like a lot of characters that play stereotypical personalities and characters and have to compete with each other at different challenges and to win money and fame. And again, I was obsessed with showing, and I did do 3 nostalgia road trip videos on Total Drama Island, Action, and World Tour. If you guys want to check those videos out. But I was obsessed with Total Drama. You know, I got into it around the time I think I got into Survivor. Which was around 2008 actually, and again, I got into that, and I was really obsessed with the show. I could not stop writing about Total Drama. I couldn't stop talking about Total Drama. I couldn't stop thinking about Total Drama. I was like so invested in the show, extremely invested in the show. Honestly, I would like go back and forth, and I adore the show. Obviously, and a lot of times I would go back and watch a lot of episodes. So I thought it'd actually be fun to look back on all the 9 seasons of Total Drama and rank every episode. And I'm not going to do this very similarly to what I did in my Drake and Josh. And I'm going to do it very similarly to how I did in my Drake and Josh review series, where basically I'm going to cover each episode as it aired, in order, and then at the end of the video, rank every episode. That would be much easier for me, honestly. And you guys my more detailed thoughts on this, honestly, considering I rewatched a lot of the episodes so many times, I have a lot more to say about them. And like I said, I'm going to go through each season, from Island to Action to World Tour to Revenge Island to All Stars to Bombshell Island, even the bad seasons. And why not add the Talking Ghost Race in there as well? And I did 2 recently rebooted seasons. Again, I love Total Drama. I love discussing this show, so I'm happy to talk about it more. It's ridiculous. It's a show that actually didn't end up making my top 50 best shows. You know, honestly, I think it probably would be like number 52 or 53, honestly. Again, making a list wasn't easy, guys, so it was kind of painful to leave Total Drama list, but when you get to later seasons, you'll probably understand why. But again, I love Total Drama, so I'm happy I'll be able to talk about this show a lot. And I'm kind of interested to see what the future is going to do with Total Drama, considering the success of the reboot seasons. I mean, I might do a couple other videos as well, so stick to that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode ranking series, and let me know your thoughts on all the episodes down below. So let me say we got a lot of episodes to talk about, guys, so let's get straight to it. As we discussed the first episode, or the first 2 episodes, I decided to put these 2 parts into one, and that's Not So Happy Campers. Just for hell of it, I decided to include both of them into one part, so I feel mostly the same upload parts anyway, so I think it makes sense. And I thought this actually was a pretty good start to Total Drama. It gets you settled into the tone of the show, what you can expect, which I think is what any premiere episode should do. And well, there might be definitely some rough edges in the show, honestly. In fact, I still love Island. I definitely won't deny that. Like, even the best Total Drama is not perfect by any means. It still keeps up with the charm and greatness of the show. Which I'll introduce all the characters that you will get to know, like in no particular order. Got Owen, the fun-lovable fat guy, Gwen, the goth girl, Heather, the queen bean girl bee, Duncan, the delinquent, Ezekiel, the homeschool fellow, Eva, the tough gym girl, and all that stuff, Noah, the know-it-all, Justin, the hot guy, Katie and Sadie, the BFS, Tyler, the jock, Izzy, the crazy girl, Cody, the kind of late man who likes to get the ladies and all that stuff, Beth, the geek, Courtney, the CIT know-it-all. She knows better than everybody, but something's even more, honestly. Harold, the nerdy type of fellow that we always see. Harold, Trent, the musician. Bridget the surfer chick, Lindsay the dumb blonde, BJ the mama's boy, and Jeff the cool bro, and LaShawn the sassy type of character that we always see. And they all play on a lot of these stereotypes, honestly, but then later on the show they do add a lot more dimension to these characters, so they put a lot more to these stereotypes, especially in later seasons. And you get a lot of little hints where you can expand, like the Harold Charlemagne that gets on later on the show in the series. Now, in this season, but in more later seasons, but we'll get into that. The kind of Gwen Trim romance that ends up here on the season, Owen being a little goofball, kind of being underdog, so you want to win. How does kind of rise to being like the villain of the season, and also her rival with Gwen and her rival with Shauna. Has a relationship with Lindsay and what that leads up to. A lot of different things that you can expect on the show. Yeah, and the basically being in 2 teams 11. So 2 teams of 11, the Killer Bass and the Screaming Gophers. And get him what the chaos is going to be. See Jeff Hatchett, though he doesn't end up becoming more of a character until later on the show and later on in the season. But we'll talk about more about that when we get there. And their first challenge is a very simple one, actually, and that is to jump off a cliff full of shark invested water, which of course is one of the most iconic moments of the season. The premiere, honestly, is diving into shark invested waters. Oh boy. And again, a lot of little fun little moments where people are just very scared and they end up wearing these chicken hats and everything. And a little fun little moments, especially with Justin ending up getting rescued, like, which kind of becomes the joke of the first 2 episodes, of Justin being like so goddamn hot that people just adore him and willing to rescue him. Which also comes a little bit joke when you face that action, but we'll get there when we get there. And again, you live on character moments, especially with Shauna basically throwing Heather off the cliff and everything, which again is pretty hilarious and iconic, which sets up their rivalry pretty well for the majority of the season. And Heather's like Grand Terror and gets funny when Owen basically jumps and ends up winning the challenge. And again, the next challenge basically is to build a hot tub. And you can get a little fun character moments of King and Sadie basically getting poison ivy and Courtney getting bit in an eye, flying into an eye, causing a little wounds on the eye. Ezekiel picking his nose. And then the Killer Bass basically end up losing the challenge spectacularly. And one thing that like Courtney might be the one to go home, Ezekiel said some not so nice remarks about females. So yeah. And that basically led him to get the boot with the campfire ceremony where he has to throw marshmallows at people that are safe. Where he ends up throwing the marshmallows to people that are safe, and the person that's getting a marshmallow gets sent back and can't come back ever. Which honestly he ends up doing that, but honestly he never took that serious. Honestly, anyway, when you first watched it, he never takes it seriously. And it comes down to Ezekiel Courtney, and while I project to be like a 7-4 or a 6-5 votes, Ezekiel ends up being the first Beer season president. I pick his nose and saying that. That's so nice remarks about females. Again, I'll have more to say about Ezekiel when we get to his later appearances, but we'll get there when we get there. But actually, overall, again, I told you a lot to say about total drama, but overall, the first episode, I say was actually pretty good, actually. Nothing about rushing it or anything, we're far from the best yet, but it does have a lot of things to come from the show. It does have a lot of aspects of these characters and what you can expect from them. And presented not just more than just stereotyping. Some get more of them, obviously, and we'll get to more of that when we get to the actual eliminations, but overall, I'd say this was a pretty good episode. And now we get to the next episode, The Big Sleep, which after they end up like making it, they hear all the food, they end up having the challenge to see who can stay awake the most. Who can stay awake the longest. That's the challenge. Who can stay awake the longest? Again, very simple challenge, but at least a lot of fun interactions with a lot of characters. A lot of different things to curve these characters and everything. And we see more Heather's manipulation. We get to forming alliance with Lindsay and Beth for the 8th time, but again, we'll get more on that when we get to the later episodes. And kind of start with Lindsay's kind of crush on Tyler. Which ends up having some pretty cute moments, even though Lindsay kind of forgets him. But again, that's which gets to be a running joke. But again, someone's there's some aspects that probably will make more sense when we get to the other seasons. But yeah, but it's kind of a cute romance, honestly. And also we get the official start of the Gwen and Trent romance, which yeah, yeah. Which honestly, I've always liked. Honestly, I've always liked this romance. Honestly, again, definitely has ups and downs of how it's portrayed on the show, more so later on, which again won't get to that. But and again, they do certain romance pretty well, and you get some pretty nice and charming moments, some pretty like heartwarming aspects. You know about when they try to get to know each other, and again, you just cannot enjoy them when they're on screen. You also get some really like funny moments as well, where you see Owen sleepwalking naked, which kind of is one of the running jokes of his character, but it somehow never gets old actually. The one where Justin basically just stands for 50 hours and just hours is also pretty hilarious, and Eva kind of be like Eva also having like bad anger issues, which ends up getting better for him. Then we see Hedda like take her iPod and everything. And then you get a lot of fun moments of basically Tyler basically gets a hallucination. He thought a bear like attacked Kate and Sadie, like ah! Duncan makes her be his pants. We get kind of starts the whole Duncan and Harold rivalry. And this little final scene where Noah kisses Cody and says, ah! Again, little moments like that just so hilarious. And just put a smile on my face. And when it's most done right, they can be pretty hilarious. And it ends with Gwen basically winning the challenge, and it basically ends with Gwen winning the whole challenge. And Eva basically just, oh no, just rammaging her cabin to try and find her iPad and her music, and then Heather ends up getting for her, and leads to Eva, and what I expect to be a unanimous vote does lead to Eva's elimination. Again, that's not all we'll see either, honestly, but Eva was fine, honestly, at least in this season. I think Eva's more fun character in her later appearances, when she's not on the show, but we'll get there when we get there. But overall, I would actually put this above the last one, honestly. It's a pretty good episode that continues on the dynamics of what they can expect from these characters, so I really have no complaints. And we continue that greatness with Dodgeball! Episode one of my most rewatched episodes of Total Drama, one episode we watch constantly. Some of themselves are very fondly, where again, everyone's so exhausted and time for the challenge, and Harold basically starting keeping them up. Heather from her lines by Billy and Beth, her being like very manipulative. And the challenge is basically just dodgeball. Dodgeball! And Duncan's pretty tired, like, wake up, and it's the last thing you do. And the Calabas are basically getting defeated with a little like funny interactions and moments here and now, a lot of stuff that I really enjoy. And then decide to wake up Duncan, and then he'll decide to use his advantage of being in juvie to try and help to win. And you also get Noah basically deciding not to compete in competition, which, again, we'll get to. Lindsay Tyler still from the little bloodmance and everything. He went ahead like throwing a boat onto Tyler, which is, yeah, actually what's happened. You can get a little fun interactions from the moments between a lot of the characters, interactions, and the dodgeball has back some moments, which were Owen going pretty crazy and ends up being him and Harold. Harold using his figure skating to dodge all the balls, and then he ends up catching it, and he ends up winning. Those great bats win! The killer bats win! And then Eve goes like, no, it's impossible! Why? And Owen has some of those funniest moments in the entire franchise. And the Gophers lost for the very first time. And what Chris hyped as the most dramatic campfire ceremony, yes! He ends up being just a Noah getting voted out by unanimous. Sorry. It ends with Noah being voted out unanimously. Yeah, but overall, again, another episode I probably will put up at the last, honestly. It's a pretty entertaining episode that plays a lot of funny interactions and character interactions between a lot of the characters. Again, it really sets up all the Duncan and Harold rivalry, and also sets up a lot more Duncan and Courtney relationship that comes like a big aspect in later episodes, which again we'll get into. But as a whole, pretty good episode. And now we get to Not Quite Famous, probably the best episode so far, honestly. Again, some of the episodes getting better, but obviously that probably won't last, honestly. But Not Quite Famous is also a pretty irritating episode that was probably one of the more drama-fueled episodes, which episodes that includes total drama aspect. This episode really highlights not only the Gwen and Trent relationship, had some very sweet moments together, but also highlight Cody's kind of crush on Gwen, which we'll get into. But also highlights, the Gwen and Heather rivalry, which is rivalry that's definitely most of the season, spoilers by the way, but at least it's some very entertaining moments, and at least some really compelling drama. Again, the challenge basically is a talent show, where they have 3 contestants based by their talents. And while Cavaz basically are still up there, but go present having like Heather, Trent, and Justin easily, and while Heather trying to give a bunch of Gwen, trying to mess with her a little bit, you have to have to grab her diary, which has like secret trust on Trent and everything. It gets a little fun with Lindsay, so that little fun flip between her and Tyler. And especially that Tyler doesn't really get unconfessional, he's still a pretty hilarious character as well. Combining get some perfect interactions and everything, but the talents. The Izzy one always makes me laugh so much. And then we get the actual talent show portion, honestly, where of course Justin basically just ends up being hot of kind of talent. And you get this fun confession like Owen's like, he's so hot I can kiss him! Because of your teammates! Yeah, that line always made me laugh so hard. So hard, and then you get Trent singing a song, and that's like kind of touching actually. During that moment, like this song was so special here, Kim. Like anyway, you hear that, it's like, aww. And then DJ being DJ, like, I love DJ. I mentioned, but I do love DJ's character. He's very wholesome. Like I always love those wholesome mama boy kind of characters. I don't know why I do. It was because I'm a mama's boy, but what was I saying? Oh yeah. Anything with Bridget basically tries to stay on here for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I tried to put that earlier, but it ends up bringing Cody's violin, and then she has like her stomach ends up like, ooh, and then she's like throwing up, which is of course like kind of jokes told about people throwing up, which excuse me, sometimes and just wow, gross sometimes. So again, I say a lot, but we'll get there when we get there. Get there, and then you can find a lot, and then Heather basically reads Gwen's diary to the entire world. Like, wow. But the Cosby idea to win just to immediately win. But basically spelling her crush on Trent to the whole world. Which it's honestly one of the most iconic moments in the entire franchise, and for good reason. Speaking of iconic moments, the Harold beatboxing section. Oh my god. This moment, like, I remember there was like actually a computer game that was actually based on this portion of the show, if I remember correctly, but yeah, and this moment alone, this moment alone has put Harold in one of my I'm sorry. This moment made Harold one of my all-time favorite characters in total drama. I fucking loved him. I always enjoyed Harold, but I loved him after this moment. Like, so hilarious and talented, and it's just like so iconic and fun to watch. Like him actually beep on, like, just watch for yourself in it. That basically enabled him to win the challenge. And while people thought, oh, Heather's gonna get voted after the whole thing, but no. Heather uses her manipulation skills to basically try and get votes against Justin. And what I imagine to be like a 6-4 vote where Gwen, Lashana, and Trent vote for Heather, and Justin, everyone else voted for Justin. I'll say even Curry probably did, honestly. And then Heather ended up being saved. Then one of the few times where actually they just give Lana immunity or just don't make it by circumstances, but again, we'll get there when we get there. And it ends perfectly with Gwen getting her revenge by drawing Harold's red uniform into her bed. Oh my, another iconic moment here. Definitely, I'm not sure where it's going to end up on my best episodes of Total Drama, but Not Quite Famous is easily the best episode so far. It is incredible. Has some of the best aspects of Total Drama, some of the most funniest aspects of the show, and some iconic moments of Junkie, and that beatbox section is one of my favorite moments of Total Drama Island, period. So yeah, fantastic. And next week, episodes get better and not over. So now we get to the sucky outdoors, which I'll say, this episode I've never been fond of, but that's almost because of one major aspect. Otherwise, it's a pretty enjoyable episode. This episode just basically came outdoors and trying to time the night, and whoever makes it back wins. And you get a lot of fallout what happened with the whole Heather situation, and Heather just being hurt and everything. Then we get attacked by a bear, which ended up being easy play and play, but then encountering a real bear. And Owen's like someone to cut his pants, and then Owen basically telling him how you just bought a bear and everything. Which ended up being pretty hilarious and plays Owen's character perfectly. Excuse me for living! Why? And then Frank basically like, well, you did. We were trying to turn the ball to Heather. It's like, yeah, well, that was pretty harsh. And he gets a fun kill of basketballs, which again, this one basically really puts in the romance between Duncan and Courtney, which is one of the best aspects of the entire show in general, at least on this season. And you get a lot of fun back and forth between a lot of that and everything, and Duncan being Duncan, Courtney being Courtney, and then present clash, but in the most fun possible way. And you just end up smiling whenever they interact with each other. You kind of want them to get together, honestly. But then we get the key and Sadie of it all. This is probably the first time I actually got put a major focus on them. And yeah, even growing up, I was never a fan of these characters. And growing up, I don't think I was even a fan of this moment of the subplot, basically them getting lost in the woods. The moment they basically lost in the woods, and then end up fighting, being catty, and all that stuff, which we can get a little fun moment of the squirrels imitating them. Again, they're bickering, just not fun to watch. And that alone just brings this moment down to the focusing on. And long story short, and as the guys in the challenge, and Kate ended up being the one voted out. So yeah. So it's definitely the weakest episode so far, mostly because of that subplot, but otherwise, still a pretty enjoyable episode. And now we get to one of my most rewatched episodes, another rewatched episode to a drama, that is Phobia Factor. Yeah, one I had constantly growing up, but honestly, I still really enjoy it. I don't think it's as great as I remember it being, but I don't know, it's like one of my favorites of the season, but it's still a pretty good episode. Mostly because of the dynamics of the characters face their fears. It's weird that they after the whole party they had last episode, everyone just blends on the whole honestly, with Gwen's being buried alive, Lindsay having bad haircuts, Hannah being pretty much fun super wrestlers, Owen afraid of flying, and Tim and Izzy, and Jeff scared of hail, Bridget be left alone in the woods, and then DJ being afraid of snakes, and Tyler being afraid of chickens, which again, we'll get into. But yeah, that makes a lot of fun and hilarious moments and everything. And especially more in my Duncan Courtney aspect, with Duncan's fear being Celine Dion music for standees. Which again, made me laugh so much again, and still does. Music's like, and you get a lot of fun interaction with all the characters, and a lot of fun moments, honestly. And you get the whole thing with Gwen and Trevor, basically. When he gets buried alive, and then tries to help her, and then break his fear of mimes. And then that ends up happening, and then he ends up getting over his fear. And then he kind of unintentionally leaves her buried alive, which does come out, which kind of a weird thing that ends up happening, where Gwen's upset about one moment and not, but we'll get there when we get there. But at least it's a pretty hilarious moment, but it's still a pretty interesting moment that happens in the show. Tyler getting over his fear of being afraid of chickens, and then going his fear of being green jelly, which kind of hints at, seen that as kind of her fear a little bit earlier in the episode, and then ends up constantly in the challenge. But because Tyler's afraid of chickens, he ends up getting voted out. We have to have Lindsay, and then there's a fun moment, basically all the chickens end up being done. Like, ah! It's like, bye, Tyler. It kind of starts to joke with basically Lindsay kind of forgets his name sometimes, or if he's there, or doesn't remember him. Again, we'll get there when we get there. But overall, pretty good episode. And now we get to another episode I always rewatch constantly, and that's Up the Creek. And this is an episode I've also rewatched constantly, and a lot of these episodes I rewatch constantly, but there are a few some I rewatch more than others. And this one, I mean, I think it's a pretty good episode. Again, this kind of starts the whole Jeff and Bridget romance, which that was started weird with Jeff being a little too, being too much and all that stuff. But just kind of like starts the relationship, and also turns the whole Cody Cameron crush on Gwen thing. And I'm actually kind of trying to get him to hook Gwen and kind of hook up. I mean, it's kind of for a bet at least, but Cody's actually being a lot more of a nice person, not being a little bit of a creep, which is probably always the most questionable part of his character. But yeah, that counts. Hey, as I say, the thought that counts. Megan starts the whole like Bridget Jeff romance, which is definitely a very sweet romance throughout most of the show, and definitely builds up for more in later episodes, which we'll get into. Then I get some really fun interactions, and them going to Boney Island to start a fire, and then they're back, and they don't take. If I not take any, if I know you'll be cursed forever, which Beth doesn't listen to, or she doesn't hear it, and that's what's happening, which we'll get into. But so then you get some really fun moments, some fun back and forth. And Izzy being Izzy, which you can tell she was trying to be the boo, how much focus they put on Izzy this episode, which never does. And then you get the whole storyline about DJ being scared of water and everything, which ended up went full circle when Harold for some reason says to burn the canoes, or at least burn the paddles. I mean say burns the paddles, and then DJ's the one strong enough to push the boat. And then the whole Splinter scene with Jeff is just so hilarious and dramatic for all the hilarious reasons. Like, damn. Because we where basically Cody tries to set up Trent and Gwen honestly and having them back at the camp and everything, that was pretty sweet actually. And a bit of a heartwarming, and definitely a very heartwarming moment. And then it fell back to them winning, and you get the latest moment where Izzy basically was pulling the vote out, and then I picked that Owen Owen. I can't believe that Owen being the only one that ends up saving Izzy in this situation, and then she ends up getting the rest from CRT, and then get bonding and some hints of what's going on in the episodes. But overall, pretty good episode. I don't know if I'd say it's better than the last one, but it's definitely up there. And then we get to now rewatchable episode, Paintball Deer Hunter, one I remember watching so much. I'm not sure we see Hedda basically be like very bossy and all that stuff, and then the line, everyone's like, oh, Hedda, open up, we need his bathroom and all that stuff, and it's like, oh, Hedda, open up, we need his bathroom, please. Like, oh. And then basically have some team being paintball hunters and some being deers, and chasing all that stuff, and you get like Lindsay Hedda bossing like, and then you had a boss like Lindsay and Beth around, and Heather gave her those chips on that stuff, and then Beth actually standing up to Heather, which is one of the most badass moments actually, which I think Beth was remembered more for. So again, this stuff I keep saying we'll get into, but it's because, it's a reality show that has multiple seasons, so some characters end up changing for the worse and better, so that's why I keep saying that. But yeah, that's hilarious. And like probably all the characters still handle more the corny and darker romance, and then Owen being Owen and all that stuff. And also the latest moment where DJ ends up like going off a cliff, which is that's one of the more badass moments in the show, which kind of out of nowhere, but it's hilarious. Especially when he has to costing P to try how it's done, which is pretty legit. Owen's just a hilarious character, because you can tell. But again, Beth standing after Heather is one of the most badass moments ever, even with Shauna, and that also end up costing him to win. And then Cody, and then honestly, Heather probably won't get about the fact that Cody did not got mauled by a bear. All that stuff. So I put that he and Beth vote for Heather, and then Heather vote for Beth, and then everyone else vote for Cody. And then Cody ended up pretty good, which and it's pretty good because I do like Cody, honestly. I don't think it's get better on later seasons, which we'll get into, but overall, definitely definitely episodes we watch for a reason, and I'll say it's better than the last two. I can say it's definitely better than the last two top. I'm not sure we're in all our ranking, but overall, pretty fun the latest episode. And we get another latest episode, and if you can't, he's basically a cooking challenge. And you got this fun side plot where basically Harold ends up leaving his underwear on the floor, and then they end up trying to mess with Harold, which can tease on the whole like Duncan and Harold rivalry, and also everyone making fun of Harold and everything. Which again is just something that would be more mean spirited, but honestly, it has at least a very hilarious moment, honestly, especially one where they end up finding underwear. You can't find his clothes and everything, and they end up having hostile under his underwear. Like, my god. Which at least has some very hilarious moments. Imagine him here underwear sandwich, which again, Okay. But you can probably highlight just good moments here, continuing on with the whole Duncan Coney romance, which is obviously a big thing in this show. And you get some pretty wholesome and fun moments between them that banter with each other. What that banter each other, and Heather being her bossy self, honestly, and Lashana being Lashana. And their rivalry making some pretty fun, hilarious moments. And then Owen being Owen, and then him being afraid of bees, and then Heather boss around to get something that near the bees, and him actually eating all the food, which is like, why would you want have to watch your food? Seriously? With like, yeesh. And at least in the girl was losing again. Lindsay actually locking her in the freezer, which is hilarious and just yes. And then we basically get the, and also again, I probably won't gonna vote out if the fact that they found about Beth, you know, having that idol from Boney Island. And hell, I put that Trent, Gwen, and Beth over Heather, and I want to over Beth. And of course, the ending scene would basically have Elle be naked and admitting to his sins. It's still not sure what not he was guilty or not, but that's still hilarious. So yeah, but no, so probably not as good as the last one, but still a pretty fun episode. Again, there are some episodes I really watched so much, and Who Can Trust is another one where basically after the last episode, you feel a lot of challenges that build around trust. And you get like end up 5 challenges actually, all that stuff. At least there's some pretty fun, hilarious moments. I picture the first moment basically had to try to get revenge on Gwen, and then end up taking off and end up having underwear exposed, which can Heather being Heather. And the cupcake challenge where Lindsay unintentionally poisons Trent, which shouldn't be hilarious, but I guess it kind of is. Also, and you get more like wholesome Jeff Bridget moments, and you get the blind challenges where say get probably her most focused sense, probably a factor, which hints that she's probably going to be the boon in this round, which yeah, we'll get into that. You also get this like subplot basically with DJ's Bunny, who's a bunny that ends up finding in the Circuit Adults episode, which I got to mention. And then ends up trusting Jeff with him, and then when they go for a swim, he ends up getting like attacked by Bird and ends up getting eaten. And then Jeff eventually tells him the truth about that, and then Duncan has his wholesome moment by finding a new bunny for TJ, which leads to some very wholesome moments, especially in the last challenge. And also Heather gets out of Jeff, which is hilarious as well. And at least it has to losing because DJ ended up on, I think I was blindfolded for a second, which didn't think could make him the boot, but then Sadie basically ends up hitting like messing with the apples and everything. And then Cody saying you're going down. Like everything, everyone just wrote to Sadie and Sadie gave over Courtney or Harold. And she has been every kid, honestly, so yeah. Overall, another good episode. Again, probably I'd say around the same quality as the last one, honestly. I wouldn't know if I'd say it's better than the last one, but Who Can Trust is definitely a fun rewatchable episode. Basics Training. By far, honestly, definitely one of the best episodes of the show. And definitely by far, as of right now, the best episode of the season. Yeah, sure, there's gonna be a few episodes that are better than this, so we'll get to that, but yeah. By how it ends, Basics Training is one of the best episodes. Like, I remember, like, still invested in this episode. Like, I'm saying, there was actually a while I was, like, really obsessed with Courtney, that Courtney was my favorite character. And I was actually upset she got evicted, and I was actually sad about it for a little while. Like, yeah, I was a very weird kid, not gonna lie. But again, Basic Training is still one of the best episodes of the show. And of this in the season. And it's probably what Jeff Hatchett actually ends up being starting to stand out actually and become his own character, where he ends up hosting a lot of the challenge, and Duncan being Duncan, and you get the culmination of the whole Duncan and Courtney romance and everything going on between them and everything, and then Chef Hatchett being like his bossy self and hilarious self, having some fun lines, and his all the fun back with Duncan, especially with him kind of going a bit too far and went to the boathouse. Like, I should kind of pick that shut. And by everything Courtney does care about him, you see Courtney go a little loose actually, which of course hints why I'm playing on the show, but it's a pretty wholesome moment and a pretty fun scene in general. And it gets pretty fun in general. Of course, Duncan's still teaching Hero about everything. And of course, you get this fun like dance scene that's honestly kind of like parody of something involving Thriller, which is hilarious. which is just a funny, hilarious sequence. Like, this is definitely one of the funniest episodes of the show, but also a very wholesome one. Especially seeing Courtney just basically just go crazy, especially telling Jeff, you need to take a chill pill. And again, like, goes on the winning again. And in a sense where you think that Harold Pummel was going to get the boots, Courtney out of nowhere gets the boots. Like, like, wait, what? I think I'm almost surprised, honestly, because it was like that Courtney got blindsided and everything. And then the Duncan was like, I'm sure no one else, I know the fact that there were 3 of us that didn't vote her off. Like, what? And it turns out Harold tampered with the votes to get rid of Duncan, which well, it was one who should have done it to recording of Duncan. That's still pretty smart, actually. So I put everyone voted for Harold, and then Harold voted for Courtney, which went through a fun downfall, of course, which then led to a fun culmination between the romance and everything, and what goes on between them. And Harold just getting like a badass moment. I was like, say what you think is unfair or whatever, it's still a badass moment for Harold. So yeah, definitely going to top of the ranking so far. And we also continue with the good ones with Extreme Torture. Again, I understand it has some issues, does have some very good episodes, obviously just the one that Matt Hughes is on, but we'll get to them when we get there, but we'll get there when we get there. But Extreme Torture is still a pretty solid one. Not as good as the previous one, obviously, but it's still a pretty solid one, obviously, with tons of like extreme stuff, and obviously, like extremes challenges. And it's one of those side part where basically when Bridget found an IQ poem that he thinks for them, obviously, which used to make awkward moments. And probably not like really awkward moments, but some pretty wholesome moments, especially when they found it's them. I try to find out who wrote that poem. And they found out it was Lashana at the end of the day, and they found out who wrote it. And then get some pretty fun challenge moments. And Trent just get demolished and everything. And then Jeff trying to tattoo and him getting like stinked and everything, like and Chad's for a shower. And then get close to get that kind of moment to find Chad, or basically and then Hannah getting topped off, and then she shows her boobs, which is like ends up getting censored, and I think it got shown in some countries, if I'm correctly, can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but yeah, it was a very interesting to see if you saw that as a kid. But at least the girlfriend's still winning, and then Harold getting the Nemesis boots, which as everyone expected. And then Harold makes love to Oshana, which is a very wholesome moment and everything. And when I was like, I saw boobies, and then Oshana getting mad. I had to like, it's very lemons like that. So yeah, now because last one, honestly not as funny at least, but it's still a pretty fun episode. And now we get to Brunch of Disgustingness, which I might also be a very watch episode. It's trying to be an episode that doesn't really like add much to the actual show. Like it's an episode that basically is like was about like sexist episode where no one's gonna get voted out, and it's gonna be in challenge mode, which sets the tone away expect from the merge portion of the season. Was the guys and the girls, where basically the guys end up getting on so well and ends up being the captain and everything. Girls just don't get along at all, and then Bridget tries to end up taking sides between Heather Lindsay and then Gwen and Lashana, and then Heather being Heather and everything, and they find this disgusting food. And yeah, well, the first one was actually beef testicles, which I don't know if they actually censored, honestly, where it says beef meatballs boarding your testicles. And one of that pizza with liver and jellyfish and anchovies, if I remember correctly, what was that called? And spaghetti with one sauce, and then crackers, and then wieners and dolphins, which is like, okay. And then the tacos too, which the guys end up winning the challenge. And in the scene where like the throw up gets a bit too far, honestly, but it gets a fun mode. So honestly, also the time doesn't really add so much, try to add a little more to the whole like what goes on in the rivalries and Bridget and Jeff romance. Like, I mean, it's still a solid episode, one I won't maybe watching, but it's definitely going near the bottom of the ranking because of the fact that it doesn't really add much to the actual season. But and the throw up can be a bit too much. But oh well, solid episode. And now we get to the merge episode, which It's a very weird one, honestly, because obviously it ends up being a merge. We get Eva and Izzy returning. And like, what? You don't know what get kicked off. And then he's like, lied, which, expected. Eva, for some reason, blaming Bridget as the main reason he was brought out, which, like, okay. Challenge basically have like 10-second challenges so you can have more pain and everything. And whoever wants to be eliminated gets a weird moment, especially with the whole Gwen Trent aspect coming out of nowhere. Then remember that, oh yeah, Gwen's like back and forth being like mad at Trent, the whole buried alive thing, which is weird. I don't know. It's a weirdly structured episode, honestly, especially when Eva's get towards the Bridget. But it's also, we get some fun moments of all those challenges, especially seeing like a turtle basically into Duncan's area, which can, again, the Huey jokes are just non-stop in this show, but they're always hilarious when done right. Like, especially in later seasons, which we're going into. Yeah. But overall, challenges are just fine, honestly, and then ends with Lashana going against a bear on a log rolling challenge, which was still a fun downfall for Eva, who ends up, not surprisingly, getting voted by 10-2, but they actually showed the votes, where Duncan actually voted for Heather, thinking he's finally going to get kicked off, which was not be a win moment, but yeah, so it's definitely one of the weaker episodes. I'm not sure if it's my least favorite of the season, but it's definitely another episode that's actually going near the bottom. And now we get to what's probably, in my opinion, the weakest episode of the entire show, of the entire season. Search and Do Not Destroy. An episode I still enjoy. Like, I don't say it's a bad episode. Definitely not the worst total drama episode. But yeah, it's the whole melodrama and the confusing drama that makes it very questionable. And this is pretty much a culmination of the whole Gwen and Trent romance where they actually finally get together. But then Heather was like, I need to beat them up, honestly. I need to break them up some way. When him right now to Heather, meet Trent. Then Heather basically actually upset that Gwen said he can't stand Trent, which Trent believes Heather for some reason. Like, honestly, I think even when I saw this episode growing up, I never got that. I was so confused by that. It's like, you realize that Heather's a bitch, right? I mean, I didn't say it like that, but you realize Heather is a manipulative, you know how she can be at times, like, why are you believing her? Like, I'm sorry, I'm just confused here, man. I'm just, like, really? Yeah, it's basically a challenge where they have to find, like, treasures in certain areas, and everyone has some success with others and everything. Owen ends up getting attacked by a bear and all that stuff, which is hilarious. We get some fun moments in this episode, and there definitely are some fun aspects here. But the whole drama thing really does not work for me. I'm just seeing Gwen trying to have a kiss, which Gwen was on Trent still, which is like, because her tricks him was like, I mean, that's just so weird and just so odd. And then Rashawn tries to get one for her Heather finally, and then she's just handed invincibility. By getting invincibility pass randomly from her chest. Like, okay. And then he decided to throw Trent, which I'm sure Gwen didn't actually vote for Trent. I would just probably just put a random vote on Jeff, and I didn't try to vote for Owen since he was the last one that was called. But yeah. Like, that whole aspect just really brings this episode down, honestly. It's one I wouldn't mind rewatching, but it's probably the one I would not want to, honestly, because of the whole drama aspect. Which, I never got like, the whole frustration of it. I mean, it does end very nicely where they get revenge on by putting sewage in a shower, which is hilarious. Yeah, but yeah, the fact that Trent ends up leaving Heather for some reason, never like, was like, well, and the fact that actually never talked at all before then, and realized, took notes on that, like, they couldn't actually say, like, I know it's a cartoon, honestly, about that, but because the logic in some areas, I just never got it. So yeah, definitely the weakest season. Not bad, honestly. Probably far from the worst total drama episode, but definitely one I don't ever see myself come back to for this season. But thanks for the next episode, High and Be Seeky is a much better episode. Probably not the best episode of the show, honestly, but it's still a pretty fun episode. Where the guys realize that they need to band together. They really need to band together and they form a Guys Alliance. Which is very hesitant because of the relationship with Bridget. And them trying to hide from Chef, which leads to some very fun moments of them trying to escape him. Bridget being sprayed by a skunk. just go and get them trying to hide and trying to avoid him, honestly, which is a fun moment, especially with Shauna actually winning the challenge and ahead of getting invincibility in some way, which can be Cersei again, and it leads to some fun back and forth, and the girls actually, getting along, surprisingly, which is strange. And then trying to split the vote on Owen and Duncan, which I assume that Gwen, Oshana, and Bridget vote with Duncan, and then Heather, Izzy, and Lindsay vote for Owen. Get a little hint that Lindsay she might not think Heather's like a nice person after all, which kind of hints the next episode. And then for the rest, I had to put all the votes on Bridget, which I assume that Jeff probably did put a vote on Bridget, and just lied to him, but I mean he didn't vote for her. Even Jeff's like, oh wow, that was a shocker. And Chris like, wow, that was a shocker. Even I'm shocked, and I knew the answer. And Chris also has Chris Pine has some very funny lines. This is one he was actually as most insane actually, which or charming obviously. But overall, pretty solid episode. That Little Change is a very odd episode, honestly, because one more time it does have one of the most memorable moments and one of the most badass episodes in all total drama. Well, the episode as a whole is just solid to decent. Like it's one of where the challenge rules don't make much sense, honestly, which unfortunately leads to Lindsay get eliminated in an unfair way, which you have to really feel bad for Lindsay in the situation. And it's a culmination of the whole Heather to Lindsay friendship and all that stuff, which, yeah. But it gets some fun moments here, some fun with all the characters, just emotional crying on Bridget kicking a bit annoying. Well, you understand it, growing up, I was like, really? But it gets some fun vehicle moments, honestly, especially with Jeff and Penny. He got the line the bolts and everything, which leads to some crashing moments. And you get some fun interactions as well. Then this makes the episode still fun to watch, but those little aspects really do bring it down, honestly, especially the whole challenge with Lindsay gets unfair. Linda being the last one across the line, even though the other two didn't technically cross at all, which is like, what? But you get the whole badass moment where Lindsay basically curses Heather. You're a two-faced backstabber, lying little. Like, she ain't actually saying curse words, obviously, but it's one of the most badass moments in all total drama. Which unfortunately is an episode that's not that great if I really think about it, but not a bad episode, but it's probably the badass moment. It's like going towards the bottom of the ranking. But thankfully, we get to another top-tier total drama episode. One of my most rewatched episodes in the entire show, and yeah, this episode's going at the top of the list. Like, this Hook, Line, and Screamer is an iconic, fun episode. One of the most fun, hilarious, and rewatchable episodes in all total drama. Basically a horror-such episode where talk about horror movies and everything, and DJ being so scared. Like, dude, that's not cool! That's not funny! Like, it makes for some pretty hilarious and charming moments, and DJ being DJ, and all that stuff. And the challenge basically trying to escape the escaped psycho killer with the chainsaw and the hook! Which kind of like moments, but for this episode that basically make fun of a lot of horror movie cliches and everything. Touching between they extend the running scenes to have a good wipeout and everything, getting to get them on the base that Owens up. Oh, my spine! And then get them on basically ends up pushing Izzy to the killer, which kind of has a little complication next episode, surprising enough. It's probably not be real, the kill end up being Chef. And then gets Liz Warner basically end up trying to take a shower and with a mask on, and then she unconsciously scares DJ. And the DJ running scene was like, and then you have to fall in the water. Then, like that shit makes me crack me up every single time. Every single time, and then all that stuff. And it's also with the whole Gwen and Duncan friendship relationship actually ends up starting here. To all, of course, you don't. Again, I'm not going to talk about too much detail about what goes on between these characters in later seasons. Again, spoilers. But this kind of talks the whole combination between these two characters that honestly, I really like actually. I really like that. Again, it's a very complicated thing, which you gotta explain when we get to later seasons, but the dynamic is pretty great, honestly, and you get a lot of fun between a lot of these characters, and a lot of enjoyment in general between these characters that you cannot but enjoy them when they're on screen together. especially when they end up relating to each other so much, especially with the horror stuff and everything like that. And he gets you basically Gwen gets a sandwich, and then she has to kind of the real escape psycho chiller with a chainsaw on the hook. Then everyone realizes that, like, and Chris is like, this is really, really good for ratings, but really, really bad for lawsuits. And then he's like, and then he has to beat him. He's like, ow! What I was so uncalled for. And then, and the whole scene where basically DJ ends up, getting scared by not seeing the killer. It's what led to his elimination, which is definitely one of the more fair eliminations told genre. And then came off, everyone just hugs. He's like, oh, group hug. And ends with the killer having one his mind being attacked with Gwen and everything. Like, but yeah, Hook Gamer definitely top of the list so far. One of the best episodes, not just the best of it. One of the best episodes in total drama, period. We'll see an episode top there, which I'm probably not one episode well, but Hook, Line, and Screamer definitely top of the list so far. And then we get to Walking Uncle Gun 1. Episode I've never really been huge on, honestly. Like honestly, I kind of think it'll be one of the more forgettable episodes in total drama. Not saying it's a bad episode by any means, but it's one that growing up I never really enjoyed much. Again, not a bad episode, and not saying there's some fun moments here and there, but just one I never really, basically end up trying to find an animal, with Heather trying to find a bear. This all kind of starts the whole Heather and Dunk relationship that ends up being probably in the next few episodes. And then Izzy being Izzy, and ends up accidentally shooting at the wrong thing, leading to Heather at one point. See Duck being chased by a giant raccoon mech, which is hilarious. Boy end up letting challenge all our favorite meals, with this getting ruined later. Boy wins invincibility, and Izzy ends up getting because of Heather, Izzy ends up getting the boot. Again, there's not much I can say about this episode, honestly. So, because that's like I told you the bottom, I mean, I don't think it's a bad episode. It's just not entirely number one. Yeah, but we're about 6 episodes left, so I hope you all have enjoyed this ranking so far. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys want to see more. I do plan to do videos on the other total drama seasons, so stay tuned. Anyway, I'm actually very excited to start doing because I love talking about total drama. So, but yeah, next up we have Trial by Tri-Arm Triathlon, which basically have Team Peter and Piers, obviously, and put with the most chance to say we have Gwen, Jeff, LaShawna and Duncan, and Owen and Heather, which says all the fun dynamics. Again, this is honestly this is honestly a pretty underrated episode. I love this episode. I think this one actually be pretty underrated. Actually, I don't know if this one gets talked about much. It's a good episode. Correct if I'm wrong here, honestly. I just don't think this episode gets talked about much, but it's always been a rewatchable episode towards me. Mostly because of the great relationships with all the characters. We're going to Heather having a lot of fun banter. LaShawna, Duncan and LaShawna actually end up bonding a little bit, and then who is the relationship between Gwen and Jeff? Which showed that Gwen did not really like Jeff and everything, but Jeff showing his more like positive nature. And again, I've always been sucker for like the very positive people, and I always liked Jeff, honestly. I've always liked Jeff. And the relationship between those two characters, and then the bonding, and then realize that they have one common they realize. And in the end, it leads to basically Jeff getting the boot here, which is often no surprise, honestly, but at least it's a very heartwarming moment that's a surprise, honestly, especially in the Duncan won the Bowman guidelines, but anything. But I think that Owen and LaShawna voted for Jeff, Heather voted for Gwen, and then Jeff and Gwen voted for Heather. And then, which obviously not Heather in the last one, but that's just what I assume, honestly, and going for actual voting stuff. But anyways, at least I'm not having Halloween stuff. But then you'll get some very Halloween moments, especially just seeing what they had to go in order which people voted out, and some even confused Katie and Zay with each other, which ended up being hilarious, and a little Halloween, a couple of Halloween with Duncan as well. So at least the Elder Peers winning one challenge, but anyone can get voted out, and no one winning invincibility. So yeah, definitely going high up on the list. And now we get to Han Camp Show, which is basically the episode where basically shows what happened to everyone that be Duncan Jane, which obviously they kind of like carrying Ponderosa from Survivor, which is kind of thing where they basically show what happens to a lot of the eliminated players after they're eliminated. Of course, most of the straight they do in Survivor, but they do spend a lot more here, honestly. Which shows what happens to the players like after they're voted out. What they're going and exploring relationships between all these characters and what they're going through and everything, and And he gets some really fun moments, obviously. He gets Ezekiel thinking he's like famous now, obviously. Even being Eva, Noah having. That's pretty much just, like starting the whole like Noah being a fan favorite character with his one-liners and his smirky behavior and his like fun action moments of how he delivers it and all that stuff. Katie and Sadie having more screen time, which thankfully they're not as annoying this time around. Lindsay trying to find Tyler, even though Tyler's there, obviously. Izzy being Izzy. Cody being Cody, but not as creepy at least. Having someone bonding with all the characters. Getting Jeff and Bridget being together with starting the whole like makeup portion. And it's coming out Prominent Thing, which I'll get into. Along this whole side thing, they're basically Connie tries to get Bridget on the hero for what happened to him. Which he could be a hero, but honestly, at least there's some very hilarious moments and all that stuff. And then Trent feeling so about what whole thing that happened with Gwen and everything. And then DJ's Bunny ends up getting hurt randomly for some reason. And it's a very entertaining episode on that. What they think of Final 5, and everyone think that, how the hell did it make this fun, honestly? Even Eva having some fun moments here and there, and some characters like who they should win and everything. And Chloe something like, hey, I'm fine with Gwen not liking me, honestly. As long as she's happy, I'm happy. And honestly, this episode probably could have been like high on this list. I think it probably will be high on a lot of people. Of course, the whole bullshit about the whole LaShawn elimination is just like, yeah. Like, it's still a good episode, honestly. I would say it is a pretty good episode. But that ending with LaShawn gets eliminated by Chris tricking everybody to vote for LaShawn by saying her name and having the parrot being a vote for LaShawn, like, I think it's just because trying to get LaShawn out, honestly. So, I don't know what they're thinking at this moment, honestly, but that really ruins the episode a little bit. But it's still a pretty good episode, just if more than that, it probably would actually be top 5, honestly. And now we get to Camp Castaways, but despite this episode also, we're just discussing this not being like an episode that, if you really think about it, doesn't really have much like point in the show, honestly. I don't think it's one that gets famous much, honestly. It's still one of the most rewatchable, one of the most unique episodes of the entire show. Now, I'll put it pretty high up on this list, honestly. Which is weird, considering, it doesn't really have much to say, like, with a bunch of discussing this, because it's kind of more of a non-elimination episode, but it's more because the interaction between a lot of the characters are more interesting. It's when they end up getting, like, stranded and trying to survive and everything, and get Owen being stranded and finding a coconut named Mr. Coconuts, and pretty much just losing himself, and then get a lot of the fun dynamic between Gwen and you get more of the fun interaction between Gwen and Duncan and all that stuff, and Owen being Owen and Elliot's goofball, especially with Coconut. And you get some fun moments between like Chef and Jeff Hatch with Chris and Chef, him having more of his stand-out moments and all that stuff. I think it's the last month where Chef ends up hooking like around Chris Brown's arm, which is pretty hilarious. And realize the island's just a fake and everything, and them going insane, and the snake, and them admitting stuff to the past, obviously, which is like, whoa. And then at least the very last moments of all that being saved, and then Mr. Coconut ends up being one of them off the shame. So honestly, it's a very hilarious. This episode is one of the most hilarious, charming episodes of the entire show, and that alone puts us high up on the list. I don't think we're going to be on the end of the day, but Kick-Ass Ways is a very hilarious episode and a very watchable episode. Okay, only a few more episodes to watch. Now we have talked about that as Ori Dare Yeti. Basically a chef-focused episode where basically Chris is Noah but he's now hosting an awards show. And he ends up being the host in this episode. And he ends up failing the host and everything. We end up not stranding on the island episode. We end up finding a way back. We're going to head together and Owen and Duncan went together. Which leads to some very fun interactions between the characters, honestly. Like, it's not the most funniest episode in the world, honestly. Like, everyone in this cast watching Aqua is pretty hilarious. Actually seeing him, actually. Like, whoa. At least, basically, Owen eating sticky buns and costing him Duncan to win. And then Duncan ends finally getting the bit, which I love Duncan as a character. He's honestly one of my favorite total drama kids. I think he was my favorite for a while, honestly, until, well, we'll get there, but overall, not the funniest episode in the world, but definitely a very charming one. Not much, honestly. Yeah, that episode is not much actually really saying about it, honestly, but it's still a fun episode. Okay, and now we get, this episode! I triple dog dare you. I'm gonna say that way, this is the best episode of the entire show. Not just Island, but probably the entire show in general. And we'll see if any episode changed that actually, and looking back on it, but I truly thought that it was definitely by a landslide the best episode of Total Drama Island, and possibly the entire show in general. It is an incredible episode of television. Basically, a culmination of everything going on for the entire season, where basically Gwen, and Heather basically eliminate themselves and everything. Where Heather's still certain that she basically is going to win. Like, she's like, hey, they might as well give me a check, because come on, I think who's going to win. Owen being motivated for pancakes, which is hilarious, and then it gets a adventure. Basically, they end up having all the people that are eliminated basically find what the most gross and insane and off the wall dares you can think of. And sometimes it's also very disgusting with the throw up and everything, but it does in a very effective way that still makes it pretty hilarious. You can basically see what they can actually can dare each other, honestly, to get these dares, or they can take that themselves and get a freebie to get out of it there. And all is basically going up, basically starting that round, basically as they basically keep going until someone refuses to do a dare and gets eliminated. Well, this is some of the most iconic moments of the entire show. I honestly, I don't know where to start with this. I don't know where to start with this episode. We get a lot of different things. Obviously, we're basically Gwen shooting nails slowly, had a licking Owen's armpits, which is like funny how a lot of times guys end up looking someone from Owen and all that stuff. And then Owen ends up taking all the dares, obviously, including the reaching Wild Hills gum, eating dog food, giving a purple nubble to a sleepy bear, kind of like leaning jelly out Owen's belly button, which is just like, wow. Which is hilarious and disgusting, but hilarious. Gwen drinking punch from the green toilet, Chef having this fun bad as see who throws up first can phone up $100. And it basically was Owen eating dog food, basically ends up making Chris throw up. And they get a lot of these montages out there where Owen has won 23 Bs and gives Owen to split his 3Bs to Gwen, basically to try and trick Heather. And then Ian has like, come on, you know they're just gonna whoop me to tears. This has to be summer. And then he's like, there's no rules. Let's do what he wants. And they basically lambasted Heather with dares after dare after dare after dare after dare. See a lot of the crazy ones that go and ends with Lindsay and has like, finally, there's no way Lindsay of all people doing anything bad. And that is having your head shaved by Chef. It's funny how it's so hilarious how Lindsay of all people ends up deciding that dare. And it leads to her actually not actually accepting the dare, and to actually kicking the shaver, and then ends up shaving her head anyway, which obviously comes up to prime point in next season, which we'll get into. And sorry, by accident, Heather ends up being the one eliminated, which, again, one of the best, which was a epic downfall, the true amazing downfall of Heather. And I couldn't think of any, like, this is one of the most, like, this is probably still to this day the most satisfying defeat of a villain in all total drama. Probably of all reality TV in general. It does time with a parody, but, again, it's really known that when a character has a major downfall, when it's done right, it can be some of the most fun TV. Probably, people still talk about the Drew Christie downfall and Zero Del Sur. You know, the Will downfall on Big Brother 7. Like, when downfalls are done right, they make some of the most epic reality TV ever. And Heather's alone, like, this episode's always so great, but that alone, the fact that her downfall, but there she actually did not accept, actually, and she ended up getting her shift anyway. Like, I could not think of any way better of Heather to go out with. Officially, Owen, the fun, lovable goofball, and the goth girl Gwen, who was always complaining about not being there, somehow ended up being the final two. So yeah, top of the list, easily. And now we get to the actual total drama finale. The very last episode, really. Which ended up being an Olympic relay race, which is a very interesting way to be a finale episode. And it's basically where the person in the finale wins. And basically having like, a majority of people vote for Owens so he could throw a big party for everybody. With only Lashana, Eva, Cody, and Trent being the ones to cheer for Gwen. And overall, I think it was a pretty good finale. Again, not the best finale episode. Again, we'll definitely get to some more bad finales on the show, but this was definitely a great finale. Really just ending a lot of shows like Oryx and everything, and Heather having a wig, and then Lashana Rocky Head in our outhouse, and a lot of time forward basically Gwen trying to prove a lot to Gwen by her some reason still being pissed off at him by Heather. You know, she probably knew that Heather was probably tricking her, which is like, okay. And then trying to actually think he loves Gwen, which is kind of sweet actually. And then Heather basically trying to stop Gwen from winning, and then Trent getting a rock to prove himself to Gwen. And it leads to actually, well, I know something about Total Drama is that Total Drama also has alternate endings. So it proves that what would happen if basically the other person ends up winning. So basically, Leanna had used brownies as Owen ends up becoming so exhausted from running. And they end up using brownies to send Owen with the fan to have Owen to be like, brownies? No! Like, yeah. And then it leads to Owen basically going easy, and then him actually winning, and everyone celebrating and all that stuff. And then Gwen and Trent still end up getting together by the end of it. So they go at each other, and it ends basically with Owen. And it basically ends with Owen with them and the party and everybody, and then ends with the basic throwing Chris in the leg and like, I waited all summer, and then how alone that's home between Heather and Gwen Heather. I'll say for the most part, I always prefer like I always could be Owen the true winner of the season. Honestly, I don't know why I've never been like a huge fan of the actual alternate endings. And at least like I always put like I'll talk about who I think is a certain one honestly who I think is the more preferred winner of the show. But for me, I think Owen's the more preferred winner, honestly. I mean, Gwen's fine, honestly. It's probably one of the better ones, honestly, where Owen didn't actually cross the finish line. And then Gwen ends up doing it anyway and still promises to party and everything, and then it's still going out. So, but overall, I'd say a pretty good way to end Total Drama Island. But we're not talking about Total Drama yet. We're going to get to the epilogue. Total Drama Island. Which shows the actual party that Owen and Gwen end up promising. I mean, we get a lot of interactions, and then seeing what's going to happen between everybody after the show. The relationship, hinting the relationship between Harold and Shauna. That spoiler ends come at promising in next season. Obviously, and then Chris come back out and still promising promising $1 million, and if Owen will give up the money, and so Owen basically started to agree to that, and then Gwen not agreeing to it because they might take away anyway. Despite that, they didn't really change anything, at least to everyone going into groups and everything. Ezekiel having more standout moments, starting to go back to Lindsay. Heather being Heather, and having and kind of starting a relationship with Harold for most of the next season, which we'll get into. Not an actual relationship, but more into interactions next season. And of course, starting to know Justin and his hotness, which is kind of his most main character, and he uses a very villainous way, which we'll get into. And he ends up getting dated, which, yeah, and their banter and everything, which is annoying. More you can see between Gwen's relationship is them basically talking about $100 million. Also, Gwen Bridges' like relationship and everything, and what they're going through. Basically, a lot of kids happens, and at least the $1 million being eaten by a shark. And the people down in the water end up getting a chance to compete in season 2, which those players end up being Owen, Gwen, Heather, Duncan, Lashana, Jeff, Izzy or E-Scope, that is going to be prominent in her next season, DJ, Lindsay, Bridget, Trent, Harold, Justin, and Beth. But yeah, everyone now will compete when Courtney spoilers come out later on, which I'll talk about with the action. But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty good, honestly. Not the most memorable thing in the world, but I think I talk about it since it's a Total Drama action, which is next season of Total Drama, which is basically have a lot of chance based on movie genres. Okay, well, that about covers my thoughts on Total Drama Island. Again, I'll leave every episode right here on the screen, but yeah, I still love Total Drama Island. It's probably, spoiler, probably still my favorite Total Drama season. Well, maybe some seasons might have more higher highs Total Drama, more may have some rough patches. It's not as like frustrating as some aspects that we'll get to later on in Total Drama, which, yeah, probably for the Total Drama Island probably should have been just a one season show, but again, there's a lot of time about those seasons, which we'll get to when we get to. I know I'm saying a lot in this video, but when you get to those, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, Total Drama Island is still an incredible season of television. Still has some of these seasons has some of the most iconic episodes of the show, some incredible moments, some hilarious contestants, some fantastic character moments, and just what a pretty reality show really should do, make you laugh and smile and have fun. Definitely has its frustrating moments, but as a whole, I'm still very positive on Total Drama Island.